Keishi, they played the whole first Black Sabbath record on the seventh day. Is that what you were listening to?
Oh no! I just listen to Black Sabbath. Like I type it into YouTube and listen to it.
So Keishi on Sunday nights, this dude plays. He's got like 6 hours of airtime. He calls it the seventh day, and he plays 6 records front to back.
Wow!
And so one night I was driving around and I got to hear I forget which record it was, but I got to hear a Dio record front to back. Yeah. And I was just fucking rocking out. And last night, man, as soon as I pull into home, I got to hear one song. As I'm like a block away, he's like, and now we're playing the first Black Sabbath record front to back. And then he starts playing, and I was like, man,
no!
I don't listen to the radio in my house. I don't know. I'm weird. I don't have a radio transceiver in here. You know,
I don't have one in my house either, dude. That's what's weird.
It's the future. Cars don't come with CD players anymore, and nobody has a stereo in their home.
No. I want a record player. Is what my brother's got one, and because my brother collects like vinyl and stuff like that. My brother collects everything, dude. He's just like he's got a pretty cool collection of a lot of stuff. But yeah, I want a record player. I think it'd be cool. You can buy new ones even now. You know, like you can go out and buy a brand new record player.
Absolutely. Records are like the last physical media that sells. So they've sort of put money, the record industry has put money back into manufacturing record players.
Yeah, they're cool. Records are cool.
My ex-girlfriend had it was a transceiver record player, CD player combo. She listened to a lot of records.
Yeah, it's killer. Cool sound.
Yeah, it's definitely like there's this whole, and I'm not into it, so I don't know why I know this stuff. I can tell you why I know this stuff because I listen to a lot of Iron Maiden on YouTube.
Yeah,
and the YouTube comments will bitch that the records, the CDs that that the songs are being ripped from are CDs from the late '90s, early 2000s, and there was some process that record companies would use to increase the volume load of a CD, but it compressed the actual sound in order to get that amplified noise, like amplified level. It compressed some of the actual thickness and sound of the record. And so the only reason I know this is because people would bitch in the YouTube comments, don't upload this version, upload the previous version that wasn't condensed because it has a richer and fuller sound. And on records can handle much more information. Obviously, it's a giant, thick piece of vinyl, so it can handle as much information as you want to put into it. And so when people like pretentious audio snobs will be like, records give you the best sound.
Yeah.
And instinctively, you're like, dude, that record technology is like over 100 years old. How could that be? It can be because CDs had a very limited amount of storage space on them, which is why they're limited to most records from the 90s and early 2000s. Most albums are they're only an hour long. They're an hour long because that's about as much information
as they can hold
that you can put on a CD. Whereas a record, they were able to put the full sound recording on those vinyl records, and so you actually do get a much richer, fuller sound out of a record than you do out of listening to a CD. That now CDs there are now remastered versions of CDs, and CD technology has progressed.
The remastered of it.
The remastered version of CDs now can hold that full sound of some albums. So you'll have these bands that continuously release these like high definition remasters. Well, it's because we weren't actually getting a high definition quality sound in the 90s and early 2000s with our CDs. They were actually giving us kind of an inferior product, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you listen to a lot of the music that was real big when CDs broke, it all has a real similar sound. It isn't as thick and full. It does have like almost a little more like of a tinniness to it than what you would hear on albums, you know?
Pretty weird, man.
Pretty weird, yeah. But either way, Iron Maiden kicks ass, you know?
Well, the reason I say it's weird is because it's like technology regressed. Like it became like during music's like biggest, most popular, lucrative era, the '90s.
Yeah.
The medium with which we used to consume um, the albums actually declined. It was actually regressing. It's weird. As kids, we didn't know it. As kids, we didn't know it. We had no way to know it.
I think personally, like society is regressing all the way around. It's like de-evolution is where we're headed.
You open that door, and I
know, but I'm just saying
that motherfucker down.
I'll
start talking about Greta Thunberg and eating bugs. And how dare you? And global climate change weirdos that they want to stop eating. They want to try to eliminate cow farts and eat babies.
I'd like to. I guess you could flip that around where you'd eat cow farts, or what do you want to do? Stop babies and eat
cow farts.
Yeah,
I don't know, brother. All I know is I've been working my fucking balls off all day, dude. I got up today and did the math on the time I have to order more comics.
Yeah,
and to place because I haven't placed the trading card order yet. And so
I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my pad while we chat.
I hadn't placed the trading card order yet because we haven't hit the $800 stretch goal. But I was like, you know what? If I don't place this order now, I'm not getting these cards in October, and I won't be able to ship out these orders until November. And I broke out all my inventory because I just moved and I just closed down the office and moved everything into a home office.
Yeah.
And so I had to open up boxes and I didn't even know how many comics I had. And I've been online just railing about how these comics are printed and ready to ship. They're all printed and ready to ship. I'm like, I don't even know if I have enough to fulfill the orders that have come in yet, let alone if we end up getting like 20 or 30 more orders, because things start to go crazy as we get close. We got 10 days left.
People nail it as it gets close to the end because they know it's
right. We got 10 days left, and so the thing ends on the 17th, and that only gives me a little over a week left of October. So it gives me like a week to start getting orders together once the thing ends. So I'm doing the math, and I'm like, if I wait until, because it takes about 3 weeks for the printer to ship me books. So if I wait until exactly the last day of the campaign and then place an order for everything, that order's not coming until November.
Right.
Fuck. I should have put in this is my second campaign, but I still haven't quite ironed out all the kinks. And to my credit, I was just coming out of a fucking horrendous gut surgery when I put all that together. But I said I was going to ship it in October. I should have said I'm shipping everything in November. And then I would have been able to wait until the campaign was over, then collect my money, then place the order, then ship it all out. Instead, I'm having to go into my pocket to do this massive order. I mean, I just spent $400 at the printer. Just before we went live, I just dropped $400 on the printer to order all the comics again, enough posters to cover a couple dozen orders, and I placed the trading card order. The problem with the trading card order was I was originally going to go with a different printer, and so I downloaded their template and I created my trading cards front and back, like lots of details. Lots of layers. I'm talking like 30 layers on each card because it's all like dense backgrounds, like that background I showed you when I was doing the shark the other day.
Yeah,
they all have backgrounds like that, all layered up and all crazy. And I used a different printer template. Well, right around the time I finished the graphic design on all those trading cards, my printer emailed me and said that they were just then offering for the first time trading cards. Well, I didn't think anything of it. I thought a trading card was a trading card. It's going to be standard. So when I sat down today, I was like, well, before I place this order, I had better at least check their template to make sure it's the same size as the template that I created all these cards to. Completely different template.
Wonderful.
Template's about 1/4 of an inch different on each side. So I had to sit down all morning and reformat every card. And there's 5 cards in the set. Front and back is 10 I had to do 10 files. I had to reformat 10 files to the to my printer's template and get that all squared away. So all morning, dude, I've been busting balls reformatting trading cards, setting up the order. I had to go to the bank, obviously, and drop money off because I don't keep, I don't let banks hang on to $400 or $500 of my money.
No,
Not a fan of banks. I'm not a fan of
me neither, dude.
overdraft fees and monthly.
I have a whole thing I could go on a huge tangent about going on right now with banks, but I'll stay away from it. But basically, it's that you put your money in there, and then it's their money, and then they'll give it back to you in the way that they like to give it back to you.
When and how they choose. When and how they choose, brother.
Yeah.
And in whatever quantity they choose. And it ain't ever going to be 100% of what you put in there.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with what you want or need either.
No. So I had to run and do that. And then I just bought a washer and dryer yesterday for the new place. And since I'm poor, that didn't involve delivery.
Right.
I bought a used washer and dryer from this buy sell trade app. So I had to yesterday. I rented a U-Haul because I don't have a truck.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my brother went and we had to go into this guy's basement, haul up the dryer, haul up the washer, load them up in the truck, drive it back here, down into my basement, the dryer, down into my basement, the washer. Then the dryer plug was a 4-pronger, and our plug in the basement is a 3-pronger.
Perfect.
So I'm like, oh fuck! And I've never experienced that before. I was like, this is fucking bullshit, man. We bought the wrong dryer. No. These are easy to change.
You're like, I have to get a whole new house now.
I have to get a new house for my dryer. So it turns out my brother had a 3-pronger in his fucking garage. Random.
Oh, he's one of those guys. That's nice to have.
What the fuck? Why would you just have that laying around? So he runs and grabs that for me. I switch it out real quick. So dryer works, washer works. I got to do laundry yesterday, but I'm like 8 weeks out of surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm still gut conscious of lifting too much or doing too much, and I'm like bent over, pulling these this washer and dryer barely fit into this dude's basement. Like when they built the basement of this house, they measured a washer and dryer.
And they're like, that's all the room we have. Yeah. Fuck refrigerators, washers and dryers is it down here.
Yeah, it's like a fucking Tetris block, dude.
What are we gonna sit on? Milk crates, motherfucker. It's all about
It was ripping into my. I'm holding it by the sides. The doorway's ripping into my the backs of my hands because there's that little room to get this washer and dryer out of this basement doorway. So I was like, when I got up this morning, I was like, all right, am I fucked? And I was like, do I have is my gut exploded? Because when I first moved into this place, I was only about 3.5 weeks out of surgery, and I fucked myself up. I couldn't get out of bed. My surgery area hurt. I called my surgeon. I was like, I think I fucked it up, man. I think I fucked it up.
I popped it. No, I popped it.
He's like, give it a couple of days. It still hurts. Call me back, and it dissipated. The pain went away. So I was waiting for that to happen again today, and so far, I'm just suffering from fat guy exhaustion from carrying a washer and dryer around. But so I had that on top of this this reorder. I came off doing a washer and dryer yesterday, and then sitting down today and just grinding this out all day. And I started about 9 a.m. and it's now 1, and I just now placed the order. So, but that means the good news is. I complained about my life for 5 minutes to say that I think it's the order's placed, and this is just cool, man. These cards are cool as fuck. I already have the discs for the free DVD, and I placed a reorder for the poster, which the poster looked perfect when I got it. I got a bunch of copies of it in before, and so that looks good. So man, this poster, these trading cards, and this free copy of Nixon and Hogan Meet Satan is that's all going in these packages, man. If you buy Dead Shit, The Talisman of Transmutation, the 3-issue complete miniseries, 120 full color pages, available now for only 10 more days through our Indiegogo. The link is in the description of this YouTube video. Click that link. Buy these comic books. You're supporting independent art. You are supporting the continued evolution of the Strangeville cinematic and comic book universe. I mean, this is a 15-year-old saga that just keeps going and will continue to go my entire life. I will, as long as you, the Strange Heads and Hack Minions, want it, I will continue to add and build to the legacy of Strangeville. And that starts here and it starts now. Pledge your allegiance to Strangeville by clicking that link, by buying these comics. You can get in for, if you're a poor bastard like me, you can just buy the first issue for $8. And at least you're given something. Even that little $8 is going to go a long way towards this campaign. If 10 of you guys come in at the $8 level and just buy the first issue, that gets me $80 closer to our next stretch goal, and helps me, because now that I've played, so I spent $400 on this reorder. What that means is that I think the campaign right now is at $500. So right now I've made $100 for making this comic book. So,
Yeah.
well, that's not even the shipping once it goes out on my end. So I've probably made around $50 so far. But the good news is, for about the next 20 orders is all profit for me. So
Right.
the next 20 orders that come through. So if 10 guys come in at the $8 level, that's putting $80 in my pocket so I can eat next month. And so I can make the next, I'm starting to work on this next project, starting to do character design for my next comic book. The more I make on this campaign, that'll go into the order of the comics for the next comic book, and that'll allow me to have that print order ready again before we launch the campaign, and guarantee you guys that you'll get your comics, because it gets glossed over a lot, but a lot of these comic book campaigns on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, these crowdfunding campaigns, they don't end up being fulfilled. When you're doing crowdfunding, you're crowdfunding the creation of a project. You're not crowdfunding a consumable item. In other words, if you throw money at a comic book campaign and that comic book doesn't get made, they don't owe you anything. The crowdfunding company tells you up front, this is a risk you're taking. You are funding a project, not buying a product. And so I forego that method, and I promise you and I guarantee you that the comics are already printed. When you place that order, it is a guarantee that you're going to get my comic books. That's not something everybody does. That's a very special thing that Strangeville Comics does for you guys, and I don't want it to be glossed over as something that is just taken for granted, because it's really difficult to pay for this stuff up front and then try to make our money back on the back end of it. And a lot of people don't do that. So the more people come in right now, even as low as the $8 level, or the best deal, like the best value is the $30 tier, or featured tier, where you get all 3 issues of the comic book, 120 pages of full color comics, and a feature-length Hack Movies DVD of your choice. And those $30 orders, if 10 people came in at the $30 level today, that would kick $300 at the campaign. That would blast us through 2 of our stretch goals.
Yeah.
2 of our stretch goals would already be over with if only 10 of you guys, and dozens of people watch these shows. Some of our shows get up in the couple of hundreds of views. If even 10 of you viewers clicked that link in the description below and jumped in at the $30 level, and I'm not asking you I'm not begging you for your money. I'm trying to hook you up with a funny, raunchy, offensive, and epically weird comic book series, 120 full color pages of comics, and a feature-length movie. I mean, you're getting a great value for that. Incredible entertainment, the unique vision of Strangeville. There's nothing like Strangeville. Nothing exists in the entertainment world quite like what Strangeville is. It's a combination of weird stoner comedy, ultra graphic gore, nearly obscene pornographic levels of sexual deviance, and all wrapped up in this crazy Kevin Smith style rapid fire tongue twisting dialogue that it's just nobody else is doing it like Strangeville's doing it, and that's true for the comics and the movies. The comics and the movies possess that unique spirit, the unique spirit of Strangeville. So that's my telethon pitch for today, Brad. What do you think of that?
That was good, man. You went on it.
Yeah,
But in reality, the comics are awesome. The story is 100% original and awesome, and very much so on that fringe side of independent comics, and it's definitely something that you should pick up and check out and support and laugh and get grossed out by.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me from this camera?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, I'm switching over, and now it's time to draw sharks. Now that I've bitched and cried and asked for money,
I'm drawing this little shithead kid squishing the fuck out of this weird little, I guess he's like some kind of mouse or something, but he's got him clenching his fist, and he's, squeezing the fuck out of him. Probably more so. You ever love something so much, or like see a little dog that's so cute that you just like for some reason instinctually want to squeeze it harder than like what you should,
Squeeze it to death.
Yeah, you have to fight it, you're like, oh, this fucking thing's so cute. I don't know why, but I just want to fucking grind its bones in my fucking it's a weird reaction, but have you ever had that to it, like a little animal or something that was so adorable that you're just like, I'll fucking love your guts out?
I can't say that I have, but I will say that I understand the sentiment.
Well, then I'll quit talking about it because it makes me sound
like
a complete and total psychopath.
It does, but that's all right. Here in Strangeville, we accept, unlike we don't purity test our citizens.
It's okay to have the desire to squish the things that you love.
You're allowed to be as fucking weird as you want to here. We're not going to purity test you out of existence. Brad, you did a bad thing in your life once.
It's like, oh, you wouldn't even believe just the things I've did to myself this morning, like let alone you want to talk about my whole life,
That's the thing that's one of the reasons that I left Facebook about a year ago, and I'm only back on there now, temporarily, so that I can try to sell this comic. There's a lot of people that have been following me on Facebook since they basically followed me over from the MySpace days, and they've been following me on Facebook. I joined Facebook in 2009, and there's people that still follow me on there from the Hack Movies days, and they don't follow me anywhere else on my on anywhere else on the internet. This YouTube page to me is like the hub of Strangeville right now, even more so than my website. And my website's a big hub for all things Strangeville. But I've been really putting a lot of effort into this YouTube page. But a lot of people, for whatever reason, they are only going to follow me on Facebook. So I jumped back on the Facebook. This time I wanted to run that first campaign so I could prove to myself that that Facebook wasn't the reason that I sell things. Was that the reason for my success or whatever? I had to prove to myself that there's a world outside of Facebook and that I could pull this off. If I didn't ever want to be on Facebook again, I didn't have to be. And I was able to do that. We were able to make a lot of money without Facebook last time around. But I wanted to go ahead and do that this time just because I noticed a few names. There's some guys that have been with me that have been, ride or die hack minions since the early days, since 2006, 2007, and since before Facebook was even a legitimate thing. And I wanted to, but they're all on Facebook now and only follow me on Facebook now. And I wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to get into on this comic book world. And so I rejoined it just so I could promote this comic and make sure everybody knows that it's out there. And it's your choice if you want to come in and support us. You can do so. If you choose not to, if you're just a movie guy, some of these guys, it's like they're just movie guys. The only reason they were ever fans is because they like movies, and that's all they're ever going to do is follow me for the movies, and that's fine, I guess. But I think the magic of Strangeville was very very well transferred into these comics. and I think that you're missing out as a fan if you're not out there supporting these comic books as well as the movies. And I'm not ruling out making another movie. I'm not ruling it out. But the thing is, it's like, this is what I'm doing right now. And the more you support these comics, the more likely I am to make another movie. The more likely I am to have the passion to revisit this stuff. Because I had left the characters of Strangeville behind for about 10 years. When I was writing fiction, I just wanted to do something a little different. And so I didn't do anything Nixon and Hogan related. I didn't do Terrence and Parander are another two of my favorites of the Hack Movies universe, and Wolfram and Wingate that were in Stiff Jobs and Cockhammer. I left them behind for years, and getting back into them with the comics has allowed me to really fall back in love with Hack Movies and the Strangeville characters. And the more you guys let me experiment with the Strangeville universe in comics, the more likely I am to get back into those movies. And so, I rejoined stupid Facebook just so I could get to those guys, and I don't like that head that way. And I just hate it, dude. I just hate it. Facebook has I don't feel like MySpace changed people's personalities. I feel like MySpace was a place for people to just say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm on the internet. I exist."
Put a fucking song on their page and a bunch of funny,
get some pictures or whatever. Who cares? Facebook changed people, dude. Facebook made people start to try to create a false, idealized version of themselves on the internet that drives me crazy. I hate fake people. I hate false people. I hate people who I don't want to saying I hate people is harsh. I don't hate people. I hate the way people act. I hate that people act like they need to me, it comes off like church. It comes off like people are putting on their Sunday best and they're coming into church and they're acting like there's no dysfunction in the family, and they're acting like there's like they're perfect little idealized versions of themselves. Like they don't have flaws. They don't have anything wrong with them except for things wrong with them that allow them to get sympathy likes. They start doing like weird activism. Like these people aren't activists. You're not a fucking activist. You're a bagger at Walmart.
Right.
And now you're on here like, can we raise $500 for the depression, Facebook group of Toronto? It's like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. That's not you. You're just a dude. You're just a guy, and you're nothing like this idealized version of yourself that you're presenting on social media. And Facebook specifically, I think, started this because, again, I don't think that MySpace made people act this way.
Yeah, I don't either. I think MySpace was honestly like fun. It was like more fun.
Hell yeah. Hack Movies got our start on there, and we fucking loved it, and people loved us. And some of our videos, like we have our very first Nixon and Hogan skit, Niacin Deficiency, where Hogan walks in on Nixon jerking off to tranny porn.
Yeah.
It's got 24,000 views. And it got 24,000 views just from us hanging out on MySpace and promoting it.
I remember seeing that when it came out. I don't remember who showed it to me, but someone showed it to me, and I remember being like, "This is the fucking most whacked out, coolest thing." Was that scene where it's like one of them you're watching tranny porn and something about eating bananas or something? Yeah.
Well, I guess he was going to shove the bananas up his ass, but. Hogan walked in on him, was like, "What the fuck are one of these bananas for?" And he's like, "I got a niacin deficiency."
Yeah.
And that was all Nick. Like I knew what the fuck niacin was, and I was like, I just had the bananas there as a joke, and he made that quip while we were filming. He was like, "Oh, I got a niacin deficiency." I was like, "What's niacin?" He's like, "Well, it's the nutrient. It's one of the big nutrients in in bananas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I
or is
remember.
it? Because the joke is like Hogan's like, dog, niacin, what the fuck, dog? Bananas have potassium, so I don't even know if niacin's in. I don't even.
Yeah, I don't either. I know they have potassium, but I remember just the thought of like, even just the thought of eating bananas and jerking off to tranny porn, just like is hilarious because it's like you can't get more like, like I need something that's shaped like a dick in my mouth while I do this. I used to have this really weird idea. My brother-in-law, I was trying to get him to buy there's this food cart that used to be for sale in Springfield. It was like I guess it was like actually like a food van, and I kept trying to get him to buy it, and I wanted to start a little food van that was called Dick Shaped Foods. And like we only sold, that was like our thing. We only sold foods that were like shaped like dicks, So like anything that we could figure out how to cook in the shape of a dick, we would cook,
That's fucking hilarious.
But he didn't feel like it was a good business venture, and never happened. Probably missing out now,
And would you just call it Dick Shaped Food?
Yeah, that was going to be the name of it. Dick Shaped Foods. Yeah.
Just like right to the point.
Right to the point. There ain't no reason to lie to you, Because if you come up and you order, you want to let them know. Like if somebody comes up and orders something and they get this big dick laying on a plate, you better tell them beforehand that that's how it's going to be, served.
So I spent a year away from Facebook. And it was glorious, and I loved it. And then it was one of those things where you're in an abusive relationship, and you finally walk away, and then and it's you like run into them at a grocery store or something, and you're like, you just get this sense of like, oh my god, I haven't even thought about that in so long. Like I'm free,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm so free of this cycle of abuse, and I felt like that a bunch of times being away from Facebook and going back to it, man. It's just like it's so, like because I know people in real life that I talk to every day,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't seen their Facebooks in a year, so I just get the real version of them right every day, and to see them and their sanctimonious little fucking persona on Facebook again, it grinds my fucking gears.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, you're a liar.
They haven't learned,
Yeah, you were a
they
liar.
haven't changed, and they still act like they have their real life self, and their real life self is the normal self I've known my whole life. And then there's this fucking fake version of them that just drives me crazy. And it again, it's something about just the fact of being just being on Facebook causes them to act this way.
Well, I think social media of all types anymore causes too much of like what they used to call it, like keeping up with the Joneses or whatever.
This
You
envy
see
that you have
people.
to-
Yeah, you look at people that like you grew up with, and you immediately feel like you should be equal or for some reason better than where they are. Never, at least, never.
But you never see where they really are. You only
That's
see
what I'm
the
saying.
idealized version of where they claim they are.
Yeah, that your lie should be bigger than their lie is what it really is.
God.
I don't post anything on my Facebook pretty much other than art. And I look at it like the people that follow me on there can either like unfollow me or just like I don't care pretty much, like that's what I use it for. I don't know if I've ever posted something really personal on social media like that because
Nobody should.
it's not really my style.
It's nobody's business.
If like for me, if the shit's hitting the fan, the last thing I'm thinking about is like, oh man, I gotta go get on Facebook and let everybody know how bad everything is, or even how good everything is, really,
And I know you've seen it, everybody's seen it. You've seen those couples that will just viciously throw each other under the bus and reveal like the worst, most awkward personal things about each other when they break up.
Yeah.
On social media.
Or you have the one where they do break up, but then they're back together like every other day, You
That's
know,
what I'm like. The weirdest is whenever they just absolutely viciously go at each other and just embarrass each other with the most personal shit they could think of, and then they're back together a month later. It's like that's fucking awkward.
yeah,
They're
I
just
love
gonna
the
do.
ones
They're
that are
just gonna
like
do it
real
again.
hardcore, where they'll even change their like in a relationship status. So like every other day, you're like you
Yep.
see like this person's in a relationship, they're not in a relationship, in a relationship. You know, like
Yeah.
if once a week you've entered the same relationship 3 times with the same person, like just try to like hold your temper and stop clicking the button to say you're not in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Well, again, it's just this obsession with Facebook, man. Get off it. Maybe your relationship would be better if you turned the fucking phone off.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, check this out.
Oh, dude, that looks rad. I love that hand. It's kind of got like a rip claw looking.
Well, check it out. I was on Instagram and I saw this dude had done this Masters of the Universe Beastman. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
So I just had my phone sitting here and I was like using it as a reference. I didn't actually print it or trace it, but I used it as a reference for the proportions to give him this Beastman pose, and I think I did a pretty cool job.
Yeah, it looks red. And for some reason, every time I hear Beastman, all I think about is Beastman AIDS. Remember the
was that Jackass or was that
CKY? One of the CKY.
Oh my god!
I shaved my legs for you tonight, Skeletor.
Who was that? Brandon DiCamillo? Is that his name?
Yeah, Brandon. They call him Deco.
Oh god, that dude is so talented, and isn't it like a recluse?
Yeah, he doesn't like a government or big like a corporate. Like he won't work for a movie studio or nothing like that. But the dude, yeah, he's pretty much like a recluse. But the dude's so fucking funny and
he's in
super talented.
Have you seen the feature film that they made?
Haggard.
Haggard, dude, he's so fucking good in that movie. That movie is underrated, dude. So for everybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, the Jackass guys, Bam Margera and his friends, before they brought in Johnny Knoxville, they had their own skate videotape music video series called it's called CKY, named after his brother's band called Camp Kill Yourself. So CKY was a series of videos that used Camp Kill Yourself music and other like thrash music and hardcore music and punk music over these guys skateboarding. But then they also had these, like the CKY movies developed over time into these awful skit videos where they would fuck with each other and beat each other up and do horrible,
just like shit all over everything and
do all shit on each other. They would fart on each other's faces. They would just anything they could. They would terrorize each other. And these CKY videotapes became like underground cult insano. Popular videos, and they used to make me laugh till I fucking cried.
I still got all of them. I got all of them on DVD.
Did they take the Jackass money and make Haggard, or did they take the CKY money and make Haggard?
I think they took the CKY money and made Haggard.
Because Johnny Knoxville isn't anywhere in Haggard.
No,
so it was before MTV. So before they got the MTV deal, this is my speculation. I'm not like reading the Wikipedia.
Well, and then there was also that after all of it, there was that Viva La Bam show too.
Yeah. Well, Bam still does. He still has his little reality things here and there. I guess once he's like crack smoked all of his.
Right now, he's I think in rehab.
Well, he was doing Dr. Phil and shit. It's real sad, but this, at the same time, it's like he's lived his life. If he OD'd tomorrow, he lived 10 times the lives most of us get to live. So.
Fuck yeah.
But anyway, they came into some money, and not a lot of money, or at least they didn't spend a lot on this movie. They decided to do an actual feature film called Haggard, and it's about Ryan Dunn's girlfriend breaks up with him, and so Bam and Deco and the other guys. They all want to cheer him up, and so what is even the adventure they go on? Something having to do with a science project?
Yeah, I don't remember. I know that I think Deco makes it's like a microwave, but it freezes or something. Do you remember that? It's like it will freeze things real fast instead of warming them up. I know that Ryan Dunn's girlfriend tells him that she needs to play the Field of Dicks, which is like a line that I like. She's like, I just need some time to myself. I need to play the Field of Dicks.
and it's like, is it Bam or is it Deco that tells Ryan like, I don't understand what's wrong with you, dog. Why don't you just like jack off to your own asshole?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Later
that
in
part
the
of it.
movie-
I
later in the
completely
movie,
forgot about that.
Brian's hunched over his sink in his bathroom trying to jack off to his own asshole.
Yeah, he's like up on the sink with his butthole in the mirror, and he's like
He's
turned around trying to look at it.
and he's like, this is bullshit, dude. I can't jack off my
We
own
probably just described why our brains are so fucked up now, as like, because we grew up watching these dudes trying to jack off to their own assholes in the mirror and laughing our asses off about it.
or at least why we're friends.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say that's fully based on, you know.
Yeah, if you're not here right now watching these videos and hanging out with me and Brad, if you don't think a grown man jacking off to his own asshole or trying to and being disgusted by himself for even
Yeah,
trying,
it's more of a failure to do so, but a continuation to try, you know? Like,
the fact that he even like had the notion to be like, maybe I can jack off to my own asshole, fuck it.
yeah,
And then
maybe it's an option, you know?
And then he gets up there and tries it. He's like, fuck this. This is
It's
stupid.
fucking gross. Yeah. Dude, there's one of them. All those things like blend together in my brain. I haven't seen any of it in so long. But have you ever seen the thing where Ryan Dunn puts a Hot Wheel up his ass and then goes to the doctor?
Yeah.
That's like another one of my extreme favorite parts because that doctor is just like baffled. You know, he's like. Ryan tells him that he was at a party the night before drinking with a bunch of guys at a frat or something. And the doctor you can hear him on the phone talking to someone and he's like, this guy was at a party and he's got a car up his ass, but he says no one, you know, like he keeps saying that like he didn't have any intercourse and they didn't do anything, but there's like a full-on Hot Wheel in his butt. And they do an X-ray, and you can like some sort of X-ray thing, and you can see there's like a perfect shaped car in this dude's ass.
If you weren't like, this was pre-internet stuff. Like for this generation that grew up on the internet, they're so spoiled by weirdness that you can see anything on the internet. For our generation,
there was nothing like that, dude. There was
nothing like that, and it was the funniest fucking thing because you can't see that. You couldn't see that, and like, you know, Jackass kind of opened the door to that, and like having like Steve-O like put a firecracker up his ass and stuff. But at the time, the more scandalous thing that would happen on actual television was the Howard Stern show having lesbians on and being like, so you like to touch each other's vaginas,
right? Yeah.
But the CKY guys like doing shit like that. Nothing like that had ever been like.
Rab himself wears a jock strap and takes off running at full speed and takes a shit. You remember that?
They make him take laxatives.
Shitload of laxatives.
And then they make him hold it. And he's like hunched over. He's like, I gotta go. And they keep making him wait.
And then he takes off running at full speed and then shit
on himself.
Oh my god, yeah, it was so bad.
You just couldn't see that anywhere else, man. That was just not happening.
Or he'd walk up to like a restaurant where people are eating and walk up to the glass window and stick his ass to the window and take a dump.
And take a shit right into the window.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god. It's like you couldn't look away, but you couldn't, like, it was like a train wreck, you know? Yeah. They had to watch that shit. It was good. It was
so funny. And so in Haggard, one of the things that that influenced the Hack Movies universe, because it actually did influence my filmmaking, because I started making movies after I saw that film. One of the things that they have all through the movie is the characters wear CKY t-shirts. There's CKY posters everywhere, and then the band CKY is the majority of the soundtrack for the movie. And nobody else, like me and my friends were watching. I was like, do you guys notice that this is like one big fucking advertisement for CKY? Like,
oh, and I'm pretty sure all the dudes in CKY were in it too at some point or another, because remember Raytheon was like a metalhead that was the main guy that was fucking Dunn's girlfriend, and he'd have that big like metalhead crew of friends.
Yeah.
Fucking shit was good, dude.
So one of the things that influenced the Hack Movies universe was I saw that, and I decided that not all the characters, but that often the characters that are in, like if you watch, have you been watching those skits, those little?
Yeah, I've watched. Yeah, yeah.
Have you noticed that Nixon and Hogan are wearing Hack Movie shirts?
Yeah, and I always have known that about your stuff too. That it was like a like even in the movies, a lot of times people would have on Strangeville stuff or Hack Movie stuff.
That's where I got it from. Like
Yeah.
I was inspired by Haggard to do that, and now Don Noble will get on here and be like, "And you ripped off Haggard too." But the thing is like all that is like I take that stuff and use it as a loving homage to my favorite things. So
Yeah, what do they say? They say there's a thing about that, about how the great show, like the best showing of admiration, is to like.
yeah,
I'm not smart enough. It's like whenever Tim Allen gets good advice from
something is the greatest form of flattery. It's imitation. Imitation is the greatest form of
anytime I ever try to say something smart like that, it's like Tool time. Whenever Tim gets good advice from Wilson in the backyard, but then he tries to say it again and it's all messed up, you know?
Yeah. So all these things like calling Strangeville when there's already a Tromaville, that's because I want people who are into Troma to know I'm into Troma too. So when you see Strangeville, that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point. Like I don't shy away or pretend that these things are that they don't happen, that I haven't been influenced by other creators. I wear it on my sleeve. And so I've always told that story about CKY, that Haggard was the film that inspired me to put all the merch for Hack Movies into the Hack Movies and actually have the Hack Movies characters be like Nixon and Hogan are actually fans of the movies.
Dude, to me, there's nothing more like pretentious than a person that says that they weren't influenced by something.
But I wasn't influenced by anything. Yeah,
like, get fucking real, dude. Like everybody was. Have you ever heard that there's a new band called Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah.
And then the dude sounds exactly like a Plant, and then he's like, "Yeah, we weren't really influenced by Zeppelin." It's like bullshit, you know?
Yeah,
bullshit you weren't.
Right, and it's what I see that as like as low self-esteem, of like not having confidence, having low self-confidence. And for me, it's like I couldn't have more confidence in my work because I know it's fucking funny, because it makes me laugh till I puke, and it makes my friends laugh till I puke. And at the end of the day, that's all I give a fuck about.
Yeah, that's how I am too. If it's funny, mostly if it's funny to me, because sometimes even my friends are like, "Whoa, dude," and then I'm like, other than you, you know, you're always like, "Man, you should add another dick." You know, that's where you are.
So yeah, I don't ever shy away from those influences and everything. I wear them on my sleeve, and Haggard was a huge fucking influence on Hack Movies, and I just love that. I love that. Like the CKYs were great. Jackass is great. In fact, I follow Bam. Anything Bam does, Viva La Bam, all the crap.
Yeah, I do too. I love.
And none of it, honestly, none of it has ever been as funny as CKY.
No, or is just all out wild too, because that was the other part of CKY. Is it was either those videos were either hilarious or full out insane what they were doing. You know, like they would do all those weird stunts where they like put themselves in like a rubber trash can and rolled off of a 2-story building and shit. You know,
and just hurt the fuck out of themselves.
Yeah, just destroy each other's dicks. Just kick each other in the dick.
For my entertainment,
with bits in the other one's mouth when he was asleep, you know. They were constantly like all of a sudden 2 of them were fist fighting. You know what I mean? Like
my favorite thing, though, I think my favorite thing of all, because you know Bam is a huge fucking dick. He's a huge dick to his parents, especially to his dad. He's a huge dick to his friends, but Bam famously can't take it. He gives it, and he gives it maybe harder than anybody.
Yeah.
But he can't fucking take it. There's a scene in CKY where I don't remember who it was. Somebody goes up and shits on him. Well, and he's like, "You fucking took a shit on me. You straight up took a shit on me." And he's like pissed off and everything. And it's like, and you're like, "Man, 2 scenes ago you were shitting on another guy." It's like he can't ever.
There's one of them where they knock him into a pit. He's terrified of snakes, and they knock him into. Yeah.
I was getting to. My favorite thing of all
Mhm.
in any of this is it's in either Jackass movie number 1 or Jackass movie number 2. They finally convince him to do a fucking skit where he's in a cage. And they get him in this cage and then throw fucking snakes in it. And
Yeah.
he's there crying. He's like, bro, you went too far, bro. Bro, get me out of here, bro. And
He's like mortified of snakes.
they
It's like
finally got Bam to the point that motherfucker is in real tears. They pushed him so far, and this guy gets everybody, and he doesn't give a fuck.
no.
He has no remorse for any of the shit that he does. Never feels sorry for the guys. Like whenever they convinced that one dude that he was going to dress up like a terrorist, but they really cut all their pubes off.
And glued him to his face.
To his face, and then told him, and he's just standing there like, I've got fucking pubes on my face.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it now because they're like glued to your face already.
And Bam was just laughing right along with everybody else. To see Bam in that cage begging to be let out because there's snakes in it was like he finally got what he fucking deserved.
Oh yeah, and he was terrified. You could tell, like he was.
Oh, it was Jenny.
Yeah, he was freaked out.
They got him on tape crying. I forgot to plug in my computer. I got to get my cord. You know what I get to do today, dude?
What's that?
Laundry.
Oh shit!
All right.
Fucking laundry. I think there's a Blues game tonight. Possibly.
Oh shit!
I think there is.
Man, that game the other night was nuts.
Do you remember when you called me and you were like,
I was so confused.
You were like, did that goal get called off? And I was like, I actually don't know. I screamed at my TV a little bit ago and turned it off, and I had to go back.
I was watching it. The Stars scored a second goal, scored a third goal, making it 3-1. And so I stormed off in disgust. And when I came back a few minutes later, it was back to 2-1. And I was like, wait a minute, what is that? And I called you and was like, what happened to that goal they scored? And while I was telling you that, the Blues scored again and tied up 2-2. I was like, I called you because it was 3-1.
There was
2-2.
I don't know how far back you've been watching the Blues, but they were last place last season, like mid-season or something like that. Right. But then since we started playing better and then we won the cup, but we have a bad problem of fucking giving up shorthanded goals. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but our power play isn't really great anyway.
And we give up those fucking
and then we give up fucking. It's like when you get a penalty, I'm always I'd rather just be 5-on-5 than when sometimes
they do better with 5-on-5.
Every time we get a penalty, I get nervous because we give up shorthanded goals. And like that one in that game that you're talking about, there was like Jaden Schwartz skates from like far away and kicks it in. It was like like I don't know, dude. It irritates me because it's like how I don't know. You have an extra. How are you better with equal than with an extra player? You know, something we do gives up space or something.
Yeah, they definitely need to practice that. They need to get on there.
I think that was a big part of us grabbing that Folk dude because he's supposed to be really good on the power play, and then he's like a solid D-man too. But I don't know, man. We give up a lot of shorthanded goals, and we've given a lot of them up to Dallas. The Stars, like they just get us on there. So I don't know. We need to remedy that.
My headphones are dying, so hopefully this doesn't turn into an echo fest. I'm turning these off. Can you hear me?
I hear
you. Well, I'm almost done with this pencil job. It turned out crazy.
Oh yeah, I like the tattered up shorts on this one. Here's my
Yeah, that's fucking cool. Oh, look at that, dude. Yeah.
squeezing the shit out of this weird little mouse guy, and then his tail's all down here.
Hell yeah, dude. That'll make a cool sticker.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts were with it. This kid is actually a kid that I think I told you I have an idea I'm working on where like these two brothers live with their grandparents and the grandparents become zombies every night, but then when morning comes, they're back to like loving grandparents.
Right.
And this is one of the kids that if I like that I've kind of drawn up with the idea of him being one of the ones that lives with the grandparents. Just like a little shit-eating asshole-looking kid.
That's gonna be cool, dude. Show you mine here. Full screen it.
Yeah, that hand's cool, man. It's got like a rip claw look to it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of this. I think I was last night. I was really looking at a lot of old cell animation from the Street Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get their anatomy down, like where their pectoral muscles go when their heads take up their entire torso, and like
right.
They basically just don't have necks. They basically have this head growing right out of the top of their pectoral muscles.
Yeah.
The shoulders are like built into the side of their face.
Yeah, their shoulders are like borderline cheeks almost, kind of. Yeah.
So that's looking pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, draw a fucking. Now, is there just going to be one of these sharks, or is there going to be a bunch of these sharks that we see?
In the first one, definitely in the first, because I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna split this one up into individual comics. I think I'm gonna do it as one graphic novel.
Yeah,
100-something pages long. In the first saga, the first graphic novel, there won't be any more than just one. It's basically him versus the corrupt cops and politicians of Strangeville. And then shit goes weird at the end. Then there's mutants and toxic waste monsters and stuff at the end. But the majority of the comic.
So you're saying it might be just like a one shot.
Are you there? Did I lose you? Did you lose me? Well, as far as I know, I'm the only one here, but I might be talking to myself, and Brad might be the only one there. Brad's screen froze up on my end, but I don't know if it froze up on his or not. We'll give him a couple minutes to get back in here. If he doesn't show back up, I'm going to call it because I'm tired as fuck. Been working hard all day. And I need some chill time. I need to relax, eat some lunch. And I think that turned out pretty fucking cool, though, man. Oh, Brad's camera bailed, so we might just call it there. We've been going about an hour. I think I'm going to call it, gang. Remember to go grab that Nixon and Hogan comic book, Dead Shit, Talisman of Transmutation, the complete 3-issue series. Available now. Hang on, I'm just going to bring this up. Dead Shit, the complete comic book, issues 1 through 3, fully funded. Already fully funded, no risk campaign. There are, well, this says 13 days left, but this is, I haven't updated this in a while. There's about 10 days left to grab this up. 3 issues. Issue 1, 32 pages. Issue 2, 36 pages. Issue 3, 52 pages. 120 pages of full color comics. Nixon and Hogan Steel. Nixon's cranky, weird old neighbor Don DeWepe's favorite trinket, the Talisman of Transmutation, causing him to unleash this horde of weird mutant zombies. Nixon and Hogan must smoke and fuck their way through this horde of the undead if they hope to defeat Don DeWepe and survive the Talisman of Transmutation. Let me show you the poster. This is the 11 by 17 poster that all backers get if we hit the $600 goal, which we're only $100 away from. 11 by 17 mini poster, full color. Look at that. Amazing poster. If we hit the $800 level, everybody gets this set of trading cards with the front of the card has a character, the back of the card has character stats. Brad's back. No, he's not. This is just me. And if we hit the $1,000 goal, everybody gets a disc copy of Nixon and Hogan Meet Satan, the short film. It's a live action film of Nixon and Hogan. And then here's some of the sweet interior art from the comic. If you're wondering, well, what does it look? What does Kevin Strange art look like? What does Strange Book comics look like? Well, here's some interior pages from all 3 issues of Dead Shit, the Talisman of Transmutation. So, gang, click the link in the description. Get yourself a copy of Dead Shit, the complete comic book. Today, we only have 10 more days left in the campaign, and then these comic books are gone forever. So, with that said, we'll see you guys next time. Might do a show tomorrow, might not. This has been the Trash Art Show with Kevin and Brad. We'll see you next time. Peace.